Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. At least better than I am, anyway. Um, yeah, You've probably noticed I haven't done that many videos recently. I done the Saturday live unbagging, and I explained then that I picked up some virus, which has been going through this town like a dose of salts at the moment. It's almost like flu, but not flu, if you see what I mean. It's really nasty. Uh, but that's not the main reason why I haven't done many videos. The main reason is because I've got sciatica. Yes, sciatica, which is a lovely, lovely little thing. For those of you that don't know what sciatica is, um, there's a nerve that runs from the base of your spine down the back of your leg, down the back of your buttocks, down the back of your leg, right down to your foot, either side, on both your legs, which is called the sciatic nerve. And it's the longest and it's the biggest nerve in the human body. And if you've had an accident, or if you've hurt your back, or you've had a slip disc, or there's loads of things that you could do that would cause pressure and cause compacting of the sciatic nerve, and that's what I have. I have no idea. As far as I know, I've not got a slip disc. I don't remember ever slipping a disc in my spine. I think I'd noticed that. I know I had an accident a few years ago where I got knocked off my push bike, which possibly could be the reason why I'm getting it now. But yeah, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. If you're wondering what it feels like to get sciatica, I can only imagine it feels like somebody getting a piece of metal, wire, heating it up to white hot, and then pushing it into the back of your leg from the top of your buttocks down to your foot, and then leaving it there, and then telling you to walk with it. That's the only way I can describe. I mean, not that I've ever had anybody do that to me, but that's what it feels like somebody has done. So, yeah, wonderful stuff. But anyway, just a little thing about what's happening in my life. A little vlog about what's happening in my life. I'm on some fantastic drugs at the moment, all legal, and prescribed, and they're great. Although, quite frankly, I think I would rather not have to take the drugs and not have the pain. But there you go. But now you know why I haven't done many videos recently. I thought I'd do a video because I've had some comics turn up. Yes. This is like an add-on to Saturday's unbagging. These are all new comics that come out last Wednesday, I think. Yeah, and I picked. They got sent to me through the post on Monday. Was it Monday they come? Yeah, Monday they turned up. Yeah. I've only just now had a chance to read them and look at them. So without further ado, I'll show you what I've picked up. First off, we have FF #4, and this comic is absolutely brilliant. Mike Allred's artwork in it is just wonderful. It is so quirky, but it fits the comics so well. I don't think there's any other artist that could have drawn the FF in the way especially for comedy anyway. The way that Mark Allred's doing it, I really need to pick up some of his Madman comics. I really need to pick up some of them because I mean I've always liked Mike Allred. I think I said in one of my previous videos that the first time I actually read a Madman comic was when there was a company crossover between Dark Horse and DC, and they done the Superman Madman Hullabalooza special. and this is just brilliant. In this one, there's a group of moloids. Is it moloids or molochs or something? And they were rescued by the Fantastic Four, and they've been put into the Future Foundation as sort of for them to look after them. Obviously, the Fantastic Four now are off on their year-long journey in through hyperspace, and the moloids or molochs or whatever, I can't remember, we'll call it moloids. The moloids, they have an almost deetic. Is deetic a word? I don't know. They basically treated Ben Grimm, the Thing, almost as a god because he saved them from the Mole Man, and now obviously that the Thing is in space with the rest of the Fantastic Four, and She-Hulk has taken over the Thing's place in the Earthbound Fantastic Four or Future Foundation. The moloids have developed, I would say, unhealthy obsession with She-Hulk. She goes on a date with Wyatt Wingfoot. I think that's his name, Wyatt Wingfoot. Yeah, who was an old boyfriend of She-Hulk's way back when John Byrne was writing and drawing the Fantastic Four. So that must have been around about 85, 86, 1985, 1986, I think. And they try their best to try and ruin She-Hulk's and Wyatt's date, but they only manage to cement their liking for each other even more through a myriad of mishaps and misadventures that is conducted by the moloids and is it Bentley 13, who's the boy android who's supposed to be an evil person, but he's not actually evil. He's trying to be, but he's not actually evil. Yeah, this is just absolutely brilliant. I've loved this comic since issue 1. I'm trying to get hold of I got, if you saw on Saturday's video on the last unbagging, I picked up a copy of the FF number 3 with the Medusa, Mike Allred's Medusa cover. This one has got the variant cover of this has got Miss Thing on it, which I'm trying to get my hands on at the moment. I've seen there's a few on eBay, which hopefully nobody's going to bid on. So, yeah, and I'll be able to get it for a very, a relatively good price in that. But yeah, FF number 4 is an absolutely fantastic read. If you're not picking up FF, seriously, it is a really good read. It is funny. There are some moments where it's not funny. It is quite serious. Like when Ant-Man decides he's going to invade Latveria and take down Doctor Doom once and for all. But the majority of this comic is just humour all the way, in this one anyway. Next, we have from Dark Horse, we have The Answer, number 2, which is quite a peculiar comic, actually. In the last issue, we have the main female character who is a genius. She goes on a website and solves all these puzzles, and then all of a sudden armed people decide to break into her home and try and kill her for some reason. Luckily enough, the Answer is there to help, and he saves her. But through this whole issue, the group of people that own the website are trying to persuade her that they're not trying to kill her, they're only trying to get her to join their group of free thinkers and geniuses for the betterment and for the further helping of mankind. But as we all know, with these groups of geniuses and that, it never works out that way. I mean, look at what are they called? Look at AIM in Marvel Comics. They're all full of scientists and geniuses and that, and they never do any good. But yeah, it's a nice, it's a very refreshing read, shall we say? The Answer. It is a superhero book. It is definitely the hero comes in to save the damsel in distress, but it's, I don't know, there's a certain quirkiness to it. You're not quite sure whether the guy who is the Answer is completely insane and he's just like a mental patient that's trying to pretend he's a superhero, and this group of people are trying to help this woman and just to get her to join her, or whether the Answer is a superhero and the group of intellectuals are the baddies. Yeah, like I said, it is a nice change to the usual stuff that I've been reading, especially from DC Comics and that. It's quick, fast paced, and I'm enjoying reading it. Basically, it's just one of those things that I'm really enjoying reading. Let's have a look what we've got here. Just to double check. Yep, the only DC comic that I have in this batch is Before Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan #4, the final issue of Dr. Manhattan, by Straczynski and Adam Hughes, and this is possibly one of the Before Watchmen miniseries that I've actually enjoyed reading. It's the final story, final part of the story, and it just gives you more of an insight to the whole psyche of Dr. Manhattan, how he perceives the human race and perceives everything that goes on around him. And I'm just going to check in here because I know that DC Comics had a bit of a problem with some retailers because halfway through the comic, you'll see the comic is up as normal, yeah, and then halfway through the comic, it all of a sudden goes upside down. Now, from what I've read, this is supposed to happen. The second half of the comic is meant to be printed upside down. It's supposed, from all intents and purposes, from what I've read, it's meant to show the complete inverted way that Dr. Manhattan views mankind in the universe now, and how he perceives things, of the way things are, and then again it goes back to normal again after about 7 or 8 pages. But the whole Dr. Manhattan thing, a lot of these Before Watchmen comics, they basically they gave too much away for the character, I think. The Minutemen one was okay once you just read it as a Darwin Cook story. If you try to put it into the original Watchmen series continuity, it didn't work for me. Silk Spectre was a pretty good read. The Rorschach one was good. Ozymandias started off strong and then tailed off, petered off halfway through the miniseries. I think that should have been really a 4-issue miniseries, not 6-issue miniseries. The Comedian was quite poor the way they tried to shoehorn the character into major events around the world, especially in American history. That was very, very poorly done, I think the comedian was. And then you had Dollar Bill, which was a good one shot. It was a character that was only vaguely mentioned in the original miniseries of Watchmen, and okay, that was an interesting one. It was another one of those characters that didn't need to be fleshed out, but it was okay. It was a good read in any case, even though it didn't need to be fleshed out. But yeah, the Doctor Manhattan miniseries has been one of the highlights of the Before Watchmen series, in my opinion, anyway. I would have to say the worst thing about this comic, the absolute worst thing about this comic, has to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5-page preview for the new Constantine series that's coming out in, is it this month? Yeah, this month. It looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. The artwork in it by Ray Fawkes, not very good. He seems to draw Constantine as a cross between Billy Idol and I can't remember the actual actor's name, but the guy that played Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. Yeah, and the actual writing of it just seems to be a very watered down version, very, very watered down version of the Hellblazer Constantine that was in Vertigo, and even the version that was originally in the Swamp Thing series by Alan Moore. Yeah, reading that preview, I'm glad I'm not getting Constantine, because it doesn't look good at all. But other than that, Dr. Manhattan is a good read. Just don't read the Constantine preview bit, because you'll be seriously disappointed in that. Back to Dark Horse now, and we have the Black Beetle in No Way Out, and I think that I reviewed the first issue of this, and I'm loving this. This is really good. It's another one of those breath of fresh air comics. It's very, if you like the Shadow, Green Hornet, or your pulp comic book characters, or pulp novel characters and that from the 1920s, 1930s, you will love this. It's very, very pulp noir. I haven't actually read this issue, I must hasten to add. I've only flicked through it, but Francesco Francavilla is, if it's anything like the first issue, this is going to be blinding. But I really enjoyed the first issue. Really looking forward to reading this one. You know, I like reading my cape and cowl superhero comics, but there are times when you just want to sort of like get away from all the sort of the superpowered sort of thing and just get into the biff pow bang sort of thing. And this actually reminds me of Batman, when I first started reading Batman, which was in the early 80s, when I first started reading Batman, and he never really had any superpowered enemies. Not really. I mean, you had sort of like Mr. Freeze, what was it, Blockbuster, when he was around in that. But yeah, this reminds me of a really, really good Batman story, and yeah, like I said, if you like your pulp vigilante heroes, you will love this. Really good. Next, we've got from Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy 0.1. I'm not quite sure why it's a 0.1. I don't remember there being a Guardians of the Galaxy 0. Whether they will bring out Guardians of the Galaxy number 0, I don't know after number 1, which is next month. But it was a really good read. It shows I suppose you could say, the secret origin of Star-Lord, and also shows how Iron Man becomes part of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Excuse me, itchy nose. I'm still not quite sure why they've put Iron Man into the Guardians of the Galaxy. The only reason why I can think of they're doing that is because of the movie that's coming out. Is it next year for the Guardians? So I can only imagine that they're putting Iron Man into this comic to enhance the interest for it from people who wouldn't normally buy it. I mean, you've got Iron Man 3 coming out in, is it next month? May time? April, May time? I remember when it's coming out exactly. So anything with Iron Man in it, in comic book wise, is going to be going crazy anytime soon. Also, what they're doing over at Iron Man seems to be looking pretty cool. I haven't bought any Iron Man comics yet. I've only flicked through a few issues, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. But yeah, this is just really the secret origin of Star-Lord and how he came to be, how his father came to Earth and knocked up a teenage girl, and then he went off. Some aliens came along, killed his mother, blew up his house, and he found out that he was the son of royalty, son of an alien prince, and yeah, it was an okay story. Whether they really needed to make it a 0.1, I don't know. Whether they could have probably have started off Guardians of the Galaxy with just number 1 with this, but there you go. Yeah, it was a really nice read. $3.99. Marvel, come on! There's a lot of comics you're bringing out now that are $3.99. Come on, bring the prices down, man. Because if you bring the prices down, can you imagine how many people are going to buy your comics if you drop all your prices of your comics down to like $2.99 or even $2.50? You know, people would be flooding for Marvel comics then if they did that. Yeah, let's start a price war. Let's start a comic book price war. Marvel Comics, put down your prices of your comics down to $3.99 ones down to $2.99, and your $2.99s down to $2.50. Yeah, and then see what happens with your sales. I bet you they will skyrocket. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, gone on a complete tangent there. Guardians of the Galaxy number 0. It's a nice starting point for the new ongoing series by Bendis and McNiven. How many we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more to go. Harbinger number 9. You probably saw in... Oh, sorry. Just getting comfortable. You probably saw in the unbagging video I did. I got the variant cover of this. This is the normal cover for this issue. And it's just a continuation of the beginning of the Harbinger War. The main protagonist, whose name I've completely forgotten now, he's starting to collect his own army of Harbingers, people who have got the power, the psychic power, but haven't really developed it, and he's going around helping them to develop it so he can help to fight against the main Harbinger group. As with all Valiant comics, this is just blinding. Every issue that Valiant brings out just knocks the ball right out of the park. The artwork in this is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to see, even though the artwork in these are really nice, I would love to see some some of the old artists, well, old artists, but I would love to see someone like Walter Simonson drawing for Valiant Comics. Who else would I see? I don't know. My mind's gone blank. But I would like to see some some artists from like DC and Marvel draw for Valiant, because that would be absolutely brilliant. But on a whole, Valiant Comics, the writing, the artwork, the stories are just phenomenal, and they were well deserving on winning the 2012 best, I think it was best newcomer publisher of 2012. They won the Diamond Distributions Companies Awards. I'm sure that's what they won. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Next, from Dynamite, we have Masks #4 for part 4 of the 8-issue miniseries. Yeah, it's still an interesting read. All of the pulp heroes, the Shadow, Spider, Green Hornet, Miss Fury, and Zorro and the likes are all banding together to stop a fascist government trying to take over America. And yeah, I've really enjoyed reading this. I was a bit disappointed because in the first issue you had Alex Ross doing the artwork, and now you've got Dennis Calero doing the artwork in the rest of the comics, which he's not a bad artist, but he's not Alex Ross. Sorry. But this is just being a very gripping, very entertaining story from the very first issue, and I know one thing I'm very, very much looking forward to is the Miss Fury comics that's coming out in April, I think. Yeah, coming out in April. Right, next up from Marvel, Uncanny X-Men #2. And it's okay. It's alright. It's not a bad comic. But Chris Batchelor's artwork, I don't know, there's just something about it that doesn't... I mean, I like Batchelor's artwork. Sorry. Trying to get comfortable. I like Batchelor's artwork a lot. I really, really do. I used to love his artwork on Generation X, and what was it? He also did Shade the Changing Man as well for DC Comics, and I loved his artwork in that. But there's just, I don't know. There's something about the artwork in this that just doesn't ring true for me. It just seems quite almost rushed. I think the word I'm looking for. I don't know. Brian Michael Bendis' writing is, as always, pretty good. He's now obviously taken over instead of writing for the Avengers part of the Marvel Universe, he's now writing for the X-Men part of the Marvel Universe. Just basically swapping one team of superpowered people for another. His take on Cyclops in this, almost bringing him to a messiah status for not only mutants but disenchanted humans all around the world. It's an interesting take on the character, although there are still times where you read it and you think, man, Scott Summers is such a whiny little twat. You know, he still blames himself, which he should do, for the death of Charles Xavier. But, and I don't know whether it's just the way they're writing him, but it doesn't seem as if Cyclops has realised that everything that happened in Avengers vs. X-Men has actually helped the mutant kind, or at least in my viewpoint anyway, it sort of helped the mutant kind, because now you have more. Alright, okay, you still get people who are slightly iffy about mutants and still want them to be eradicated from the face of the earth, but it seems to me that, especially in the Marvel Universe now, mutants are more widely accepted than they've ever been accepted. But other than that, Uncanny X-Men, it's okay. It's an alright read. Like I said, the only thing is I'm not too sure about is Cyclops, basically, and his massive messiah complex that he seems to have at the moment. And of course the $3.99 cover price. Saying that though, with what I said about Batchelor's art inside, I do like the cover to this one. The cover with Emma Frost on it. It is a really good cover on there. But yeah, not a bad read. Could be better, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. From Valiant again, we have Exo Manowar, Prelude to Planet Death. Again, I can't praise Valiant enough for the way that they've rebooted their universe. This is how a universe should be rebooted. No half-assed, we'll pick and choose what we're going to reboot, or we'll say we'll reboot something and then later on when we decide that it doesn't work, we'll just change our minds and completely screw our continuity up. This universe has been started from scratch. The best parts of the old Valiant universe has been kept in it, but all of these stories are brand new stories with brand new characters. In this one, we see Arax finds out that his best friend is still alive, and the aliens try to blackmail Arak into giving them back their Man of War suit, which they worship. And in the end of the story, Arak decides that he is no longer going to be waiting for them to come and take the suit from him. He's going to go to them and nip the war in the bud, shall we say, and completely take the war to their home world. Yeah, Exo Manowar, absolutely brilliant. If you haven't got these, pick it up in trade, because it is definitely worth picking up. And finally, from Marvel, we have Young Avengers #2. And again, this is one of those comics which is, it's a fun read. You've got Wiccan, who has decided to do Changeling a favour and pull his mother out of the time stream from a point before she was executed by the Skrulls, only to find out that it wasn't actually Changeling's mother that he took out of the time stream, but an alien parasite. And I am loving the portrayal of young Loki in this as well. He's still a mischievous scamp, shall we say, that he was in Journeys into Mystery, but he's not as evil as his older counterpart was. He's still trying to prove that he can break with his supposed guaranteed future of becoming an evil Loki who's going to cause massive murder and mayhem and everything. And the team of Young Avengers are still trying to come together. Excuse me. But yeah, it is a fun read, and I think that's what you need nowadays. There are too many grim and gritty comics out there where, I mean, they do have their place, the grim and gritty and the realistic comics, superhero comics, but at the end of the day, the real world is full of people that are grim and gritty and that are killing people and blowing people up and everything, and you just want to read something that is going to take your mind off of that sort of stuff, and this is definitely one of those comics. It's a fun read, and I think that's what you need in a comic, something that's fun to read. So there you go. One sec. Just squeezing all the air out of the bags. There you go. That was a few of the comics that I've been sent from last Wednesday. I'm still waiting for the comics to come to me from this Wednesday. I would love to know, has anybody picked up Joe Casey's new Image comic, Sex? Has anybody picked up? I'd love to know what people think of that. I've been trying to get it off of eBay, and literally the first day that I saw it on eBay, which was on Wednesday, it was people were selling it for £15. There was even one person who was selling 7 copies of it for just under £70. That's £10 a copy. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I am personally sick and tired of people buying comics, or even comic shops, or internet comic shops, or even people on eBay getting hold of comics that have come out that day, and what's the word I'm looking for? They falsely increase the price of a comic just because it is an Image comic, a #1 Image comic, and a lot of Image comics from number one Image comics do go later on for a lot of money, because people go, oh, I'll have to buy that, and then you find out it's like Saga. I mean, you're still, you can buy a copy of Saga #1 for something stupid like £50 now, which is ridiculous. And I think it's things like that in the end will do more damage to the comic book industry than anything else, quite frankly. So yeah, I do have a copy of it waiting for me at my local comic shop, but I won't be picking it up until the end of the month, unfortunately. So yeah, if you manage to pick it up, I'd like to hear what you think of it. Hopefully I might be able to pick up a copy of it relatively cheaply off of eBay, just so I can have a quick look at it, or I might even be able to, I might even see if I can actually download it on a digital. But I'm not really that keen on digital comics personally. Anyway, that's enough of my ranting. So there you go. That's some more comics that I've just had sent to me fairly recently. If you got any comments on the comics that I've just shown you, comment section down below. Love to hear from you. If you like the video, thumbs it up. Always like a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video for whatever reason, thumbs down. But don't just thumbs it down and don't comment, because it just makes you look like a knob. Plain and simple. That's what it does. You know, say why you didn't like it. If you didn't agree with me on some of the things I said about the comics, then by all means just comment section down below. That's what it's there for. Thank you everybody who has subscribed to me. I'm getting slowly but surely closer to my 300 subscribers. I don't know what I'm going to do when I do get to my 300 subscriber. I might have a little raffle thing going on, or I might do something, get you to suggest for me to do something, or a Q&A sort of thing. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. So yeah, I think that's it really. So it just leaves me to say thanks for watching. Take care, and as always, enjoy the comics that you read. Ta-ta for now.